So today is going to be a story time, but I would like you to do me one little favor if you can. Just one. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by February 1st. So if you could, just click the subscriber button. If you're not already subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yes, I know how I said I wasn't going to do true crime, and I've been asked a lot, many times to do true crime, and I've watched so many of you wonderful people out there do true crime, and you're absolutely fabulous at it. And there are so many out there. And I have to admit, I watch true crime. Of course, it's interesting. I have read true crime, and like I said, I went on a serial killer tour, so of course I find it interesting. I'm just not ready to get into, doing that on a regular basis, but I actually have a story time to tell you because this is something I did and I thought it was interesting. And I actually forgot that I had done it until my partner and I were talking last night, and he goes, "Do you remember that tour that we did a couple of years back?" Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, what tour are you talking about? Because we did a lot years back." And he goes, "The time we went to the Spec murder house." And then it all came back to me. Yes, we went on a serial killer tour. Yes, it was in July of 2019, so before 2020 we did a lot of things. We used to go on ghost hunts and, all kinds of Doctor Who conventions and all of that. We used to do all of that. Haven't done a lot of that in a long time, which I'm sure a lot of us haven't, but I gotta take a drink. But yeah, we went on this tour. I think the name of the tour company was Chicago Ghost Tours, I think, or Chicago Haunted Tours. It was run by Ursula Pelsky. She doesn't own the company anymore. I think a lot of people that are ghost people would know who she is. Very, very nice lady. I've met her many times. Very nice lady. And it was a bus tour, and I was so excited to go. And you would think, why are you excited to go on a serial killer tour? Are you a freak? No, I'm not a freak. in Skid Row. Now, how did he get from Skid Row to where? Because I think it's in South Deering. It's pretty far. It was an extremely far bus ride. How did Richard Spec get from where he was to where this is to kill those nurses, and then get back to Skid Row? Because they're not close at all. So I found that extremely interesting, because in my mind I always thought it was downtown, because I know the nurses were, I think they were at the University of Illinois. I honestly thought that they were downtown. Now, I'm not an expert on any of this true crime stuff. I know what I hear and read, but I'm not an expert. So if you know why and how did he get all the way down there and then back, and then if he was drunk or whatever, how was he able to kill all those people and then get back? The logistics don't work out in my mind at all. So that was a very, very interesting stop on the tour, because I'm like, this building is still here, looks the exact same, and people are living in it. Wow. And after that stop, we went to the murder castle. H. Holmes Murder Castle. And it is now a post office. I'll put in a picture of it right here. And this is Ursula Belsky right here. And I'm not sure what this man is, but that's Ursula standing right there. And then I'll put another picture. It's a post office. And it's on the south side of the city. It's south of downtown. But that is where H. Holmes committed all of his murders at. And they put up, and from what I understand, they did not change the basement floor. They kept the basement floor the same. They did not change that, but they changed the rest of the structure. So the basement, I think, is still the same. But that was pretty interesting, because when we got there, we all got out of the bus and we were walking around the grounds, and the post office is closed. It's not a functioning post office anymore. We all got out of the bus, and a couple of people, including my partner, started to feel lightheaded, like they were about to pass out. And I remember my partner, there's a tree right there, and he leaned against the tree. He just had an overwhelming feeling of lightheadedness. I didn't feel anything, but there was a couple of people in the group that felt that way. And as far as ghosts and spirits are concerned, I'm very skeptical when it comes to that. I think there's echoes. I don't believe in necessarily ghosts or anything. So that was a very interesting stop that we made. I've watched many shows about H. Holmes, and I've met far as I know, the Crime Sisters weren't solved. But this is my experience going on a serial killer tour. As I said,